Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're listening to this from. Welcome to Gabbin with Gab, the show where I will literally talk about whatever comes to my mind whenever. I'm your host, Gabby Sinatra, and welcome to our first episode. Today I'll be talking about driving and random little things that bother me while I'm driving. But first, I wanted to introduce myself so you could get to know me, and hopefully I'll get to know you. Hi, my name is Gabby. As you probably could tell already, I'm 18 years old. I live in New York. I am a college freshman, and I've never done a podcast before, so I'm so excited for this. I talk to myself all the time, so this is definitely going to just be me rambling on and on. It's just me recording my thoughts at this point. This definitely will just be unfiltered, uncensored, unhinged at some points. A lot of the things, my opinions can be very controversial, and not in a bad way, but in a sense, if you don't get what I'm saying, it's going to sound so fucked up, and I do curse a lot. That's just so forewarning. I have the mouth of a sailor. It's so bad. So, just enjoy me along the journey. So I don't know if this is just me, but whenever I'm driving and there's someone behind me, I don't know if it's because I watched too many episodes of Criminal Minds, or I'm just crazy. But whenever I'm driving, the person behind me, if they get in the lane once near me and they're behind me for more than 2 seconds, and they make the same turn as me once, we get off at the same exit, I think that they're following me, and it's so bad because they never are. But, I always have that paranoia that they are. And so, I'll be driving. I'm like, oh, my God, this person's behind me. Let me just turn down this random street to see if they're following me. And, the amount of times I've gone home such a long way just because I was terrified that someone was following me when they weren't, it's insane. So then whenever I'm behind someone and I happen to be going the same way as them, I'm like, oh, my God, what if they think I'm following them? I'm not. But, they probably think I am because I always think everyone's following me. So then I'm like, they probably think I'm following them. If I was them, I would be terrified. So then I just turn down, a random street, even if it has nothing to do with where I'm going, just so they know I'm not following them. Or, I'll put my blinker on a lot, further behind, even if I see they don't have their blinker on, just so they know I was planning on turning before they were. So, I was planning on going first. So, I have this crazy paranoia that, I just think that everyone's always following me. And it's so bad. Because then I get so nervous when I'm driving just because I think someone's following me. So then I'll go super fast. I'll be like, get away from me. I go so fast. It's actually a problem. My gas mileage is horrible. Horrible. It used to be 30 miles per gallon. Now it's 19 on a good day. Because I figured out how to do sports mode. Because I have an SUV, but it's the sport model. So, I figured out how to have, put it on sport mode, but it's not going more than, an increase of, 2 miles an hour. It was just the mode it was in, so then I put it on sports mode, and now I go so fast, and now my gas mileage is so fucking low. It's horrible. It's so bad. Another thing I have a problem with is the people that are in the left lane that should not be in the left lane. If you are going 60 miles an hour on a 55 speed limit, you should not be in the fucking left lane. Unless you're just passing someone and getting over right away, don't be in the left lane. You are an inconvenience, to be on the road. Because, I'm get out of my way. You're going so slow, and now I can't even get around you because you're literally pacing the guy next to you. Fucking press on the gas a little bit, go around them, and then get in front of them, get over, because you're just in the way. It's such an inconvenience for everyone else on the road. When it's a two-lane, get over. The left lane is for passing, and you're not passing anyone going that slow. So get out of my way. I want to go faster. I'm usually late for work, too. So then I have to, go faster. And I'm trying to get around people, and they're going so slow, and, they're pacing each other. And also, commercial vehicles should not be allowed in the left lane. At all. Big trucks, no. You're going too fucking slow. You're barely going the speed limit as is. Get out of my way. Seriously. I also hate pickup drivers. Like, pickup trucks are like the inconvenience of the road. And like if you could imagine, like, the person who, and no matter what they do, you despise it. It angers you in some sort of way. Like, as a car, that is a pickup truck. Hands down, that is a pickup truck. They're always either going so slow that, like, they're holding up the line, or they're going so fast behind you, it's like they're gonna run you over. And, like, they're going incredibly fast, and it's, like, horrible. And then even if they're not the slow one, like, even if there's a smaller car in front of them going super slow, because they're so big and they're covering up that car, like, I wouldn't know it's the other car's fault. So I'm going to automatically blame you. There's no reason you need to have, like, a giant gas guzzling truck that is, like, so fucking big. Like, what, you put in one piece of plywood in the back of that? You don't need that. Unless you're, like, a construction company, you really don't need that. And, like I have this conversation with my dad because he has a van. And, like, he hasn't worked, like, he used to be a maintenance man, and then he retired, and now he went back to work, but he's not doing the same job. Like, he's not in the construction field. And, like, that car is so old. And, like, whenever, like, we're talking about, like, cars, like, or I'll, like, point out a car on the side of the road, like, I'm like, oh, that's a nice car. Like, and it's just, like, a small car. He's like, you can't fit plywood inside of that. Like, okay, I don't need to fit plywood inside of the car. I'll hire someone to put plywood in their car and fix whatever they need to for me. I don't need plywood in my car. What do you think? I'm fucking building a shed in my backyard, like, for fun? Like, why would I need to do that? Like, I don't care. Like, or another thing that angers me is, especially guys do this shit all the time. Like, I was in the parking lot with one of my guy friends at the time, and at school, like, we were eating, like, lunch, and then this Mustang pulls in, but, like, I can, and it says on the fucking back of the car, it says Mustang. And then I'm like, I point that out, and I was like, that's a nice car, because it was a convertible. I like convertibles. I was like, that's a nice car. And then he goes, that's a Mustang. As if I couldn't fucking read the giant words on the back of the car. Like, okay. Or, like, I'll say that to my dad. I'm like, oh, that's a nice car. And he gives me this whole description of, like, the whole car history. He's like, well, that's a 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air, and it has this engine, this tire. Like, I'm like, dude, I just said it was nice. I'm not going to the dealership to go buy it. Like, what the fuck? I just said that one in specific is a nice one. Like, because you could have 3 of the same exact car, but different colors, and it doesn't work the same way. So, like, that person executed it the best. And, like, that's all I'm saying. Like, I don't fucking want the car, but I'm saying it's a nice one. Like, that's what I don't get. Like, guys, like, really feel like they need to compensate with, like, car knowledge. And it drives me insane. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I don't care about the car. I just think it's pretty. Like, I don't care about, like, the history. I just go for the looks. I go for the looks of it. Like, they're just so annoying. They're so goddamn annoying. Another thing is I can't drive in certain shoes. Like, I avoided driving in Doc Martens because I have, like, really thick Doc Marten Oxford loafers. And so, like, that platform is, like, 3 inches of fucking, like, thick rubber. And so then I avoided driving in them for, like, 3 or 4 months, just because the last time I drove in them, I accidentally went, like, 80 in a 40, and I didn't even know, just because the shoe is so goddamn heavy. Like, I had no control over it. And I drove in them for the first time again on New Year's Day, because I was going to my grandma's house, and I was wearing them, and I really wanted to wear them, because every other time, like, I would want to wear, like, a platform, I would just, like, change my shoe. Like, I would wear, like I would put on, like quote-unquote driving shoes in my mind. Like, I would put on, like, my Air Forces, or, like, something that I know I can drive in easily. And then I would change when I get there, but sometimes it's just so annoying to change, like, your shoes when you get somewhere, just because, like, you just want to go inside, especially in the winter. Like, I'm like, I don't want to be outside for longer. Like, so then I just was like, fuck it, and I put the shoes on, and I drove in them, and I didn't get in an accident, so I was very proud of myself. But I barely had to put my foot on, like, the gas. Like, I would literally have to lift my foot up, honestly, because the shoe is so heavy that it, like, if I just placed the shoe on the pedal. Like, the shoe is so heavy, like, it would go so fucking fast. It would probably, like, go to, like, 100 so fast because it's so heavy. Like, so I'm always terrified to drive in those. And I had to, like, move my seat back because I was too tall. Because when I drive, I have the seat all the way risen and all the way forward pretty much. Like, my knees are almost touching, like, right under the steering wheel. Because, like, I have short legs. And then, like, but the problem is when I wear, like, platforms, like, since, like, my legs and my arms are now, like, not the same, like, they're not, like, proportionate now because I'm wearing a different, like, now my height's different. Like, but my arms are still the same length. So then I have to, like, drive. It's not comfortable for my arms. And that's so annoying because it's, like, my legs are longer, but now my arms are still the same length. So then, like, my arms are, like, so straight because I like having, like, my arms bent when I'm driving. Like, I like driving like a little grandma. Like, do. But I don't go the speed of a little grandma. But I like driving like, the style of a little grandma. No, what I don't get is guys that will have their seat all the way reclined back, all the way pushed back, and then lean up forward like a little grandma driving, like, with their steering wheel. Like, it looks so stupid. Like, just fucking adjust the seat. Like, unless the seat's broken, adjust it. Like, there's no need. Like, you could just move it. And then if you just want to sit back, you could move it back. Like, it's like, you look so dumb. Like, you look genuinely so fucking stupid driving like that. Like, and it's only guys that do that. I'm like, you look so stupid. Like, or the amount of guys that I see driving like that, but they lean back, like, all the way back, and they're, like, 5 feet tall. Like, I'm like, you can't see over the steering wheel now. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's all the way on the floor. It's all the way pushed back. Like, I'm like, you can't even see over the steering wheel. Like, you're leaned back all the way. Like, you're laying down while driving. Like, do you think that looks fun? Like, or cool? Like, no, you look dumb. Like, what the fuck? Another thing I hate is when, like, kids are playing in the street. And I get in this argument with my dad. Because he's like, well, kids are meant to be playing in the street. Blah, 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 blah. We live in the fucking suburbs. Every single person has some form of yard. There's a park around every corner. In every neighborhood, there's some form of park. You could go to the park if you want to play basketball. If you want to play, like, soccer or some shit, play in your yard. Like, there is no need for you to be running around in the street. I'm not allowed to drive on the sidewalk. Therefore, you should not be running in the street. Until the day comes where I could drive on the sidewalk. Get on the fucking grass, bitch. Like, no, because this annoys me so much. Because even in the city where no one has a yard, you don't see kids playing in the street. Like, I don't fucking care if you live on a cul-de-sac, a dead end, or anything. Don't play in the street. Like, you're teaching your kids not to have any form of boundaries because they're not even respecting the one simple safety feature. That it's, like, the one simple thing that will keep them safe. Don't play in the street. Because that, like, worst thing you need is a kid just being in the street, no one seeing them, and getting run over. Like, because especially if you're teaching your kids to play in the street, they're gonna fucking play in the street in the dark too. Like, because also when I was a kid, I never fucking played in the street. Just, like, I would rarely even play in the front yard because I would be terrified. Like, my mom once scared me that I would be, like, kidnapped. She would terrify me that, like, now I'm like, don't play in the street. Like, she was like, no, don't play in the street. Like, you're gonna get run over by a car. Like, now I'm very cautious even when I just fucking cross the street. Like, I grew up to be that kid that was very, like, aware. Meanwhile, I had friends that would just, like, jump in the middle of the road, like, any chance they get. Like, are you fucking stupid? You're gonna get run over because a lot of people aren't good drivers. They're not. Don't fucking play in the street. Like, why are you teaching your kids? Because I have this whole theory that if you don't teach your kids not to play in the street, they're not going to grow up with boundaries. Because they're not taught the most basic common thing. So then they're not taught to respect boundaries. Like, you're teaching them they can play wherever the fuck they want. They can play wherever the fuck. This sounds so controversial, but you're teaching them they can play wherever the fuck they want. That means they think it's always playtime. You're never teaching them, like, a simple guideline. Don't fucking play here. You can play here, 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 but you can't play here. Like, just teach them to fucking properly cross the street and get their ass to the park. Or play in the backyard that you have, or the front yard that you have, Every single person here has a yard. Play there. Like, I'm literally only talking about my neighborhood, and I see every single place has at least a front yard that's perfectly fine to play in. Like, I don't care if you don't want their footprints on your grass. Like, I don't want their body prints in my car. Like, get them out of the fucking road. Like, this sounds so controversial, but it's so true. Like, kids just irk me in another way. Like, especially when I can hear your kid, but I don't see your kid. If I know your kid is there, but I haven't seen your kid yet, we have a problem. Tell them to shut the fuck up. I don't want to be going places. I would be so down for there to be like, you know how there's senior citizen shopping hours? If there was like specific hours where it's kid free, like I would go places then, or like only a specific amount of time where like you could take your kid places, because I don't want like kids in my space when I'm trying to enjoy shit. Like, I'm just like, get away from me. Especially like if your kid's well behaved, that's one thing, and like I don't really know your kid's there until I see it. But like if I know your kid's there before like you pretty much know your kid's there, I don't fuck with this. I'm not coming here to like hear your kids scream and kick. Also on airplanes, like I feel bad for the babies because like when they cry, like it's because the pressure is so high that they start crying. But like unless it's dire need, why are you taking your baby on a plane? Like unless like you had to go to like a funeral or something important, why are you taking your baby on a plane? Like it's annoying. Like really, don't take your baby places unless it's like an emergency or something like that they need to, like you have to, but like don't plan that vacation when they're still a baby then. Like fucking drive then. I don't fucking know, but you should have to fucking compensate when your kid starts crying, because no, the worst is toddlers and like 6-year-olds, because like they kind of know better. They should know when to shut the fuck up. Like I was on this one flight and like there was this annoying ass kid. It was a late flight too. It was like we had a layover. So then me and my family, there was like 6 of us. We were all separated because it was Southwest. So it's like you don't pick out your seats in time. It's just like first come, first serve. But we had a layover, and like we were like our first flight was like delayed. So then we had to like sprint to our next flight. And then so we get to our next flight, and then we're like the last to board. And then so we're all separated. And then I just like I look over, my aunt's in the other row over, and there's this kid behind her, and she's just screaming to her grandma. She's like, smell it, smell it, smell it. And we're all like, smell what? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, and it was like 10 o'clock at night. We're all fucking tired. We're like, shut the hell up. Like, shut up. Like, give this kid some melatonin. Put this kid to sleep. Like, or like give this kid like an iPad or something to shut her up. Like, I don't like iPad kids, but this kid needs to be quiet. It's so late. We're so tired from traveling. Like, shut up. Like, really, shut up. I do not want to be near you. Like, we both look at each other like, what the fuck? Like, it was insane. Like, I'm like, I can't. I really can't with kids. Like, I would pay extra. I would pay like an extra $100 to get a kid's free flight. Like, the worst is Orlando. Because, like, there's Disney, there's Universal. All of the kids are there. All kids are there. Like, you're not avoiding kids at that airport. It's a nice airport, but, like, the kids are so annoying and so slimy and so gross. Like, kids are just, ugh. I remember one time I walked into, like, my peer ed class, and, like, there was just a bunch of kids there. And, like, for anyone who doesn't know what peer ed is, it's peer education, and it's, like, it was honestly really stupid, but but it's like supposed to teach you how to be a better person, but I didn't like the teacher, and that's a whole nother story, because he had like this cult following almost. Like the people who liked him like worshipped him, and then if it's like you either worshipped him or you hated him. I fell in the hated him category, because he was just so fake. Like he had like this whole persona, oh, like accept everyone matters, but like he didn't know my name till literally the last week of school. Like, he marked me absent once when I was sitting right in front of him. Like, I'm like, how do you not know your student's name? He knows, like, the ones that he, like, worships. Like, he has, like, this whole, like, popularity. Like, he wants to be popular. He's stuck in high school. He went back to the same high school he, like, to teach, like, that he went to. And he's, like, trapped inside this mindset. Like, and he thinks he's, like, so woke or some shit because he's, like, gay. But we're like, you're literally the most homophobic gay person I've ever fucking met. Like, this man literally said, he was like, yeah, in 2012, like, I would so hold hands with my boyfriend in public. But now, no way. I would never hold hands with my boyfriend. Blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, he doesn't have a boyfriend. There's a reason. There is a reason. I could tell, and he would complain about being single. And I was like, I could tell you every single reason why you're single. You're fucking annoying. You're fucking needy. Like, shut the fuck up. You're the fakest bitch I've ever met. Like, shut up. But going back to it. So then I walked in, and there was all these kids. And I didn't know this was happening. And then me and one of my other friends, like, both of us hated kids. And, like, so we look at each other, and we're, like, hiding in the corner, like, I didn't sign up for this. I would have skipped if I knew this was going to happen. Like, I was not prepared for this. I just came from lunch. I didn't know there was going to be, like, children running around. Like, little rugrats running. Like, literally gremlins. I think kids are, like, fucking gremlins. They, like, just sprint around. They're slimy. They're gross. They're, like, they cry. Like, I cry enough for the both of us. I don't need you crying too, sweetheart. Like, I was that emotional kid. I'm not gonna lie. Like anytime someone raised their voice at me, like, I would bawl my eyes out. Like, I still low-key, like, cry when people, like, raise their voice at me in the wrong way. Like, if you give me the wrong tone, I will start crying. But, like, they're annoying. Like, I don't like kids. I just genuinely don't. And I kind of feel bad that I don't. But they're just, like, if they're a kid that I know, that's one thing. But random kids, absolutely not. Like, there's a reason why I never went into babysitting. Growing up, I used to be like, oh, I want to be a babysitter. Oh, I want to be a camp counselor. Like, I love kids, blah, 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 blah. Because I grew up being, like, the youngest, like, in the family, usually the youngest at events. Like, so then I was like, oh, I love kids. But then I, like, was around them, and I'm like, get the fuck away from me. I don't want to be near you. Like, I just don't like kids. Like, at all. I love how this was, like, starting off as driving, but now it's kids. Don't like kids in that sense. And that is, like, some of my, like, takes on kids are so controversial. And, like, that's the problem. Because I feel like people don't get it. Like, it sounds so wrong if you don't let me finish my sentence. Like, if I get cut off in any single way, a lot of the things I say, if it's not a fully completed thought, it's going to sound so fucked up, but I have logical reasoning behind every single thing. Like, kids are just a menace, and they shouldn't be around. Like, I don't think you should be taking your kids in public. Like, I feel like there's other ways around it. Like, or, like, a kid-free hour or something, because I don't want to go into line and your kid's fucking throwing, like, cereals down the fucking aisle at Stop and Shop. Like, I really don't want to. I feel like not in the mood. Not in the mood. Like, literally, shut up. Like, you're so annoying. I don't want to hear you crying because you didn't get the Cheerios you wanted. You didn't get the chocolate ones. You got the plain ones instead. Like, shut up. Shut up. Like, at least cry over, like, you didn't get the right Barbie for Christmas. Like, instead of the fucking cereal. Like, there's better things to cry about. Growing up as a kid, I had so many fucking Barbies. It was actually crazy. Like, I literally had the dream house. I had the convertible. I didn't even have, like, the regular dream house. I had, like, the Costco dream house, which was so cool because it had, like, an elevator. And it had also stairs. There was 3 floors of pure glory. There was, like, a balcony. Everything. I ate that shit up. And then I had a little pink Corvette. And I was like, with the fucking car. And then I broke it at one point. So then the remote didn't work. So then I'd have to, like, hand push the Corvette around. Now I'm like, Bratz over Barbie. Pure maturing is just, like, growing up and realizing, like, Bratz were better than Barbie. Like, their style, their makeup, everything. Like, their body inclusivity, like, they weren't like, oh, you have to be, like, literally a size 0. Like, they're, like, hips for days, lips for days, pop off. Like, I literally ate that shit up. Like, I'm like, I love Bratz. Like, Bratz over Barbie. Barbies are like mid. And then they're trying to do like this whole inclusivity thing. But like the beef I have with it is they're still all fucking blonde. Like when you think Barbie, you just think of fucking blonde. And I don't fuck with blondes. Like I have a strong like disdain for blondes. I don't like them. I get like angry by blondes, low-key. Especially the blondes that like make their hair blonder and then act like they didn't do it. Like I knew someone and like someone asked them, they're like, oh, your hair looks lighter, like did you color your hair? And they go, no. And meanwhile I know they did because I was told they did. And then I was like, what the fuck? Your hair doesn't go 5 shades lighter just overnight. Like clearly you dyed your hair. Like I don't know if you just didn't know that like highlighting means coloring, but it's the same shit. It's the same shit. Like I was like, what the fuck? Like I started hysterical laughing because like I went into the other room and I started peeing my pants. I was like, stop. You're joking right now. Like it's just, or like when people like go, well yeah, I was blonder as a kid. Well, your hair is fucking like brunette now. Like you're not a blonde anymore. Like I had blue eyes as a baby. Now I have green eyes. Like I'm not going around still saying I had blue eyes. Like I'm being like, yeah, my eyes are actually blue. Like I'm a blue-eyed person. No. Your like colors change. Like your hair color, your eye color, like those things can change. Like those are like traits, but they can change colors. Like just because you had one growing up as a kid, you're not the same person as you were a kid. Like are you telling me you're still that 5-year-old? Like shut up. Like shut the fuck up. Don't be an idiot. And because blondes have this whole complex that they think they're so much better. I don't fuck with blondes like that. Like blondes just irk me. Like I was talking to my best friend about this yesterday. We're on the phone because I talk about like my anger towards the blondes like every week. Like just they irk me. Like one blonde does something wrong and it like fuels the fire even more. I'm like, oh, it's fucking blonde. It's because they're blonde. It's not even anything else. Like it's because they're blonde they act this way. Because it really is. It really is. Blondes with blue eyes, they have a specific way they act and it pisses me off. Anyways, going back to the story. She was like, I feel like your type isn't even like brunettes just because you think they're cute. Your type is brunettes just because they're the complete opposite of blondes. Just because you're like, fuck blondes like that badly. Like you just want the brunette instead. And I was like, that's actually such a valid point. Because it's like, what's the complete opposite of blonde? Oh, a brunette. I'll take a brunette. Like I feel like just brunettes like look better. Like I feel like blondes have this whole like complex and they think they're so like amazing, but like really I don't fuck with blondes like that. Like blondes are just like, for the most part, they're really fucking annoying. And like you have like a few exceptions, like Talia on TikTok. I love her. She's a blonde, but I love her. She's an icon. She's one of my favorite TikTokers. Like, cause she's like, fuck men, and I'm like, purr. Like I love Drew also because like they're just both like fuck men, and I'm like, slay. Like I feel like I hate men more than I hate blondes. So then like I'll like, if a blonde has a good opinion about it, like I'll be like, slay. Like you're not really a blonde in my mind, now you're a brunette. Like the blondes that I fuck with, like which are very very few, like in my mind I'll change you to a brunette just so I could be like, nah, they're chill. Like, especially, like, natural blondes. Like, I feel like they have this whole complex. And I'm like, shut up. Like, you're not that special. Like, or what annoys me is the people that complain about fake freckles being like, well, you guys hated it when it was on me. But, like, I said that, when I was fucking 5? I said that your freckles were ugly when I was fucking 5? Like, shut up. Like, get over it. Get over it. You didn't have real people problems. Like, freckles, that's, like, the least of your worries. Try being, like, a fucking fat kid. Like, that was, like, the hardest shit to grow up with. Like, get over it. Like, no, what pisses me off, that stupid movie Tall Girl. Like, out of all the problems, you pick her being too tall. Like, it's not that deep. Like, being tall is not that big of a problem. Like, even as a girl, it's not that big of a problem. There are worse problems in life, and the fact that they try to compare it to, like, in the second movie, like, I watched it just to be like, what the fuck? what's going on, like, just to laugh at it. And also because Sabrina Carpenter, love her. Again, not a real blonde. She's such a queen. But like I watched it to be like, okay, let's see what they're saying. And they're like trying to compare like her being tall to his issues as a kid with like body image. And I'm like, those like, and like, because he was overweight as a kid. Like, I'm like, those are not comparable. Like, you don't have a whole, like, if you're tall, you don't have a whole system of people like trying to like tear you down. Like, because your height you can't control. So then your weight, they like, you have some form of control over it. So then they like attack you and they're like, oh, well, you're lazy. Oh, you're this, you're that. Like, you don't have complete control over it because you can have medical issues, etc., etc. And like, it's a lot harder, but like, you have zero control over your height. So then they really can't like take it out on you. But they could make fun of you so much harder for your weight. Like, and it's like, that pissed me off. That movie pissed me off so much because I'm like, that is like the least of your fucking problems. Like, all she did was just change her fucking hair. Like, she stopped wearing a hoodie. Like, yes, you can, like, yes, the anxiety part is valid. But you complaining about your height, like, get over it. Honestly, like, this sounds so bad, but get over it. Like, okay, you're fucking tall. There's nothing you could do to change that. Like, shut up. Like, wear the fucking heels. Like, I don't really care. You could get the things off the top shelf for me. Thank you. Like, I would love to have you around if you stopped complaining over every single thing. Like, it's so insensitive. Like, movies like that are so fucking insensitive. Like, I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, there are real world problems and you're teaching this shit? You're showing this shit? Like, I get you're trying to, like, send a message to, like, little kids. Like, don't bully because of, like, things, blah, blah, blah. But, like, it's so insensitive. Like, the message is actually, like, so fucked. Like, I just can't deal with it. Anyway, so I think that was a great topic. I think that was a great episode about driving, and it turned into a bunch of random shit. But so that's pretty much how this show is gonna play out. For the most part, I will definitely be getting sidetracked a lot, so often. Thank you so much for joining me today and listening to me ramble on and on. Our social media handles will be tagged below. If you enjoyed this podcast, please follow along and enjoy the journey with me. Thank you so much for listening in, and hope to see you next episode.